Hello, the purpose of this screencast is to have you finish the Worldviews exercise we started earlier this week. If you are in periods 2-7, you are going to watch from this point on, meaning you have to start with part 1, which is going to be the next slide. If you are in periods 4-5, you got a little bit further. You can fast forward this until you see on the screen part 2. And that's where it says periods 4-5 start here. So, part 1, periods 2-7 start here because we need to finish up the front side of the handout. Thus far, we've completed all these sections and you have notes in each one. The one we still need to fill is the role of the individual within the Native American community. So how an individual saw him or herself or their purpose within a community. So you will be filling in this box. All right, here's the reading, the role of the individual according to Native Americans. According to Native Americans, the good of the community was more important than the advancement of an individual person, family, clan, or tribe. Contrast and contradiction is that within European society, maybe in mainstream American society, the individual sometimes is more important than the group, or the individual is praised, honored, revered, looked up to, more so than the group is. But in Native society, it was the opposite. The individual asked him or herself, what can I do for the group? So they were a small piece that helped the group function. Therefore, a Native American was valued by his or her loyalty to the community, not by his or her personal gain. So, that takes us to what you're going to be writing in this box. And it is written right here. The group was more important than the individual. A person was valued by what she could do for the group. You can pause here and write this down. Okay, now we are on part 2, and this is where periods 4-5 are picking up with periods 2-7. So we are all together now. All right, take a look at these qualities, and we're going to come back to this list. But this is a list of positive and negative qualities. And you're going to look at these qualities, think about Europeans, think about most Native people pertaining to the readings we read and took notes on, and think about what quality really represents each group. Because remember, Native people and European people were coming in contact with one another, and they had very different ways of looking at the world. What quality represents the way they looked at the world? So if you flip your sheet over, you have something that looks like this. And it's got this big question at the top. What happens when two groups of people make contact with one another for the first time? We actually have a painting here, and this painting is made to represent Chief Powhatan of the Powhatan people, which are in modern-day Virginia around the Chesapeake Bay, and I believe this is supposed to be John Smith. Of course, it's a pretty romantic image, but this is where Jamestown was founded, and we get the story of Pocahontas, etc. This is supposed to be Pocahontas' father. Well, mainly we have two cultures colliding here. One European, one Native. The question is, how did Europeans and Native Americans see the world? Here's the goal. You will choose a quality that best describes Europeans, and you will select a quality that best describes Native Americans. You will use the ideas from the research to support your ideas. So you're going to need to come up with some evidence in support of the quality you select. So, review your responses to the questions on the other side of the handout. You need to look back. It's been a couple days. Take a look at the role of the individual, the way property was viewed, and the way that each group looked at the environment or nature, and review kind of the overview of what each group thought of those different aspects of life. Then select a quality. And I'm going to project this in a minute, but you're going to look at all the qualities, and then in here and in here, you're going to write down a quality that really represents each group. After that, you need to provide evidence from the research, the reading that we did, that supports the quality you selected. So you're going to need to flip your sheet over and look at that. Select a quality, project it on the board that you think Native Americans valued, select one you think Europeans valued, and then we're going to provide evidence for what you selected. So you're going to need to look back at your reading. Relationship to nature. What evidence supports this quality? Same thing here. Look back at idea of property. What evidence supports the quality you selected? Next, role of the individual. What evidence supports this quality you selected? So you're going to need to provide a specific fact in the evidence bubbles to support that quality. So pick the perfect quality for each group. Here is the list of qualities. You can pause now to select a quality and fill out the sheet. Okay, at this point you have this side completely filled in, and that is the end of this exercise. Thank you for listening.